Let's drop the link. I like that. You're probably one of the few guys who've used more than two features in the app. I like that though. It's actually it. I'm amazed at the app though. I'm amazed that I've been able to create something like that. But this is what I've always wanted. I've always wanted a one-stop shop, personal command center type of app for myself. Like I've always wondered, how come we only have a workout app or a task management app or a goal setting app? I wanted an app that had everything in just one interface. Because to be honest, bro, tool fragmentation is a tax on the soul. You know, when you have several tools that fragments your consciousness, is it breaks your consciousness apart. So you essentially you're more distracted than you are productive. So I created the app for myself. Let me put it on the screen. And in the process, let me log out of here. In the process, log out. So let me log out of my builder account and log into my personal account. And then I'll show you guys. There we go. No, 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 no. Email, yeah, this one. There we go. Home. All right, and we can put it on the screen now. Let's go put it on the screen. This iPhone right here. Bam. There we go. Bam. Let's go back to YouTube. So I'm putting the app on the screen now. So I started with, well, I wanted an app for myself. I wanted the app just for myself. After I shared it with a couple of guys, they were like, "Yo, this is amazing. You gotta share it with more guys." And the more I work on it, the more I use it. The app has actually changed my life because those features, like I said, are features that I've always wanted to have. They are things that I've always wanted to use on a daily basis. And I decided to share it with you guys. And then I decided to turn it into a supplementary asset for my work with Men Superpower. I'm currently building a coaching page inside of it right now as we speak. It's getting even better, bro. You're gonna like it better. I'm hoping to get on my real streaming software very soon. And this is just reminding me that's what I should have done, but it's okay. I did not want to wait until everything is perfect to go live. I did not want to do that. And so I just wanted to take the action today, but I'm not liking the way this streaming software is behaving. You still haven't seen the app on the screen. Amazing. Well, for the past couple of years, I joined Google's developer program. I joined Google's developer program, and I just script the web for learning. YouTube, X, and Google. Google has an extensive um, resources. Google has extensive resources for guys who want to become web developers or app developers and stuff like that. So I joined the Google's program, and I mean, I actually wanted that's what I wanted to earn a degree in back when I was 20 something. But I felt like programming back then was too hard because, of course, I was still on PMO, I was still on porn, you know what I mean? And so instead, I went to business school. But I just couldn't get programming out of my system because I'm a systems thinker. I'm a systems thinker as an INTJ. I just couldn't get programming out of my system. The same way I couldn't get data analytics out of my system. So eventually I had to go to data analytics course because I am a numbers guy. I am a systems thinker. And so I had to acquire those skills. And now with the help of AI, we can get 5 times the amount of work done in 50% less time. So if you look at what I've done recently, right, Triller, I have, if you check at the bottom row buttons, you'll see today's focus. Today's focus now in the productivity hub, you have a module, well, it's always been there, but create masterpiece days. Create masterpiece days. If you haven't used this feature, give it a try tomorrow. Um, this is to create clarity in a man's mind at any given moment. This is going to create tremendous amount of clarity in any given moment. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Where are you studying that? Are you on Coursera or other platforms out there? MIT has a program online. I think Yale has a data analytics program. And then there's the Google Analytics program through Coursera. Where are you? Which one are you taking? So this module So this module, this is going to create clarity in somebody's mind, in a man's mind, in a second. Oh snap! I have to fix this tonight. Oh, you are in Nigeria. I didn't know that. Ben Binary Technologies. Wow, I didn't know that. 100%, 100%. So we have another thing in common. And if you look at the streak in the app, it's all editable. The streak counter is editable. You get to start your streak. You get to actually, you can name. I decided to change my semen retention uh, streak counter to a different name. Like I'm tracking a project right now instead of, I mean, I'm still practicing semen retention, but I'm tracking a project alongside of semen retention. Feel your power, bro. Feel your power, bro. And you can also edit the ticker. You can change the ticker if you want to. You can personalize the scrolling ticker and the footer of the app to make it say messages that resonate with you. Isn't that amazing? And look how many pages I've created. One shot. You want to know my favorite feature in the app actually is deep work. I'm always creating deep work. See, I've done about 60 hours of deep work sessions since I created this app. Feel your power, bro. Let's go. Hey, bro, you haven't checked my app yet? Ooh. Oh. So, nobody has asked, so well, Trilla, this is I didn't know you were in Nigeria, bro. I mean, you are 6 hours ahead. So right now, it's like 2 a.m. for you, right? It's like 2 a.m. for you. I used to have clients in Nigeria. I used to have guys that I was working with in Nigeria. I used to have a lot of friends in Nigeria, actually, like good friends in an earlier part of my life, in a different season of my life. I used to have a lot of Nigerian friends, men and women. Habits. Let's check out habits. You got the habits, right? You can set daily habits, weekly habits, all the way, which reminds me, today is Thursday, right? I did take a cold shower today, so which reminds me to check that. I've actually been taking a cold shower. I did take my supplements today. It's amazing. The app has been blessing me. You know, man, I went into a different business because I wanted to go into the world to create something else. You know, after a couple of years of discovering NoFap and semen retention and all the opportunities that I had lost in my life and all the opportunity cost also that I incurred, I wanted to go in the world and do something physical. I wanted to build, I wanted to do a physical business. I didn't just want to create something online. I wanted to build something physical. And so I went to do that for the past 5 years. But I went into trucking actually for the past 5 years. But throughout that journey, the teacher side of me, the thinker, the philosopher side of me, the writer side of me just would not leave me alone. I just couldn't just keep driving trucks like that. I just couldn't keep doing that. Um, and I made a decision. I made a decision to get back into teaching, to get back into creating, to get back into writing. I made a decision to get back into my own gifts. You know, um, I actually had good success with trucking. In the 5 years, I've leased two trucks. I've worked for companies. I've driven one side, the whole east coast of the country. And during truck driving, I got into crypto. I got into AI. I got to clear out a certain level of fog in my mind, you know. Um, but I just couldn't keep driving, bro. I just couldn't keep driving. So we're getting back into content creation. I do actually have another channel. If you guys can check that out. You see, a lot of apps out there, and I used to be on a NoFap app, but it wasn't a semen retention app. It wasn't. But I believe semen retention is actually the framework for NoFap. Semen retention is the framework for NoFap. I don't think you can just be on NoFap and not practice semen retention. But a lot of those apps, and that was a problem I had with apps. A lot of those apps, they were more task oriented than psychology or state shift oriented. You see, what a man needs is to shift his state, his consciousness, and he has to have a structure, a tool that moves him along specific milestone, specific points of development, to arrive at that new consciousness. But a lot of apps that claim to provide no fab services, they're just another task management app. And let me tell you this too, bro. A lot of these services were not created by somebody who's been through the process. They were created rather by a businessman, a business person who looked at the data, see how many men are in need of such service, and they went and created that service. So there's still a disconnection between the product and the men who need the help themselves. Chew that, Triller. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sitting on two. I mean, not to boast or not to toot my own horn, but everywhere I go throughout my life, bro, every single day, somebody's going to say something about my wisdom. Somebody's going to be blessed. I'm going to help someone, and because of my ability to gain clarity, this is why a good portion of my apps is designed to provide clarity. Check this out, right? Um, and so my best gift is in helping people, is in speaking to people. My forte in life is generating insights, wisdom, data driven based insights, and share it with others. My best ability is to break down complex ideas into digestible bits. But I'm going to get my real streaming software back with my real equipments pretty soon. So this month marks 10 years since I discovered no fap and semen retention. 10 years. I am not the same man. Yo, I am not the same man. 10 years ago. In February 2016, I remember watching my first no fap video. I did not even know there was such a thing. I was shocked. I was shocked because, you know, when I was in the early days of being addicted to pornography, I thought it was a me problem. I thought I had a problem. You know, I had never talked to another man about it. I thought I had a problem. And so when I discovered NoFap was a thing, I was shocked. I was shocked that, whoa, 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 there are other guys who are actually experiencing this. There are other guys who are spending days being so sad like me. I thought it was just me by myself. That was 10 years ago. That was around February, March 2016. And 10 years later, it's a different story, man. Not the same man, not the same confused, unsure, um, emotional, sad man with lack of direction. Not the same man. Definitely not the same man. So, I wish where I am today, I wish that on every man on NoFap and semen retention. I wish that for every man. Now, not 10 years of unbreak, not 10 years of semen retention, not 10 years of streak, 10 years of the practice, 10 years of being on the journey, 10 years of being on the journey. It's 10 years of being on the journey, 10 years of rising from the ashes. But that's the process, though. The process is falling and getting back up, falling and getting back up. But every time you get back up, what's necessary is that you get to a higher level when you get back up. It's like in trading, a higher high, and then a higher low, and then a higher high and a higher low. So long you see an uptrend is not a straight line. An uptrend is not a straight line. An uptrend is a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and a higher, continuously. That's actually an uptrend. So long you fall, every time you fall higher, you're making progress. You're making progress. For me, the reason, I guess, one of the things that can make me qualify as a teacher in this area is because I'm an INTJ, personality, and everything that I'm interested in, I turn into a science. So I've read a lot of research papers. I've read a lot of books. I've gone deep inside of it, and I've created systems. I've created principles because I go deep into shit. Just like I just spent 5 years in trucking. Listen, I did well because whenever I go into something, I turn it into a science. So perhaps that could be the difference between me and other guys. And that's why I have to share, that's why I can coach. Oh, check this out. Check this page out. Check this resources page out. I have posted a lot of books, a couple of books that you guys can check out. You know, books that I have read, but I have too many to post here anyway. But just a couple of them as we go. And so that's what makes the difference between myself and another guy. Uh, I really believe that porn was gonna kill me. I thought I was going to die. And so when I had an opportunity to, when I saw that maybe there was an opportunity to recover, I went deep. I went deep. I went deep. And of course, over the years, I have discovered, oh shit, that's one of my strengths. I go deep into anything, any subject of interest. That's actually part of my strength. The same way I went deep in porn, right? It's the same way now I go deep into whatever I'm doing. Like building this app, I'm spending 10, 12 hours just sitting at the desk, bro. I could sit down at 8 p.m. and I get up, use the bathroom, and drink water or grab a snack, but I won't stop working until 6, 7 a.m. Or I could just get out of bed, brush my teeth, take a shower, eat something, exercise, and then sit down until 8 p.m. So the same ability that I used to have to binge watching porn, that same ability I have transmuted into creativity. And I can produce a lot of work. And that's how I've discovered actually that one of my flagship habits is deep work sessions or deep work, immersive work. Like I do my best work when I work between 2 and 4 hours together at one block. They may have little breaks in between. In fact, let's go check out my deep work page. Right, this is the deep work page. So let's act like we're gonna create a deep work session. Right. So you have a deep work title, the description, the date, how long measured in minutes, and you can choose what the areas are: writing, coding, studying, planning, creating, researching, etc. You can create your own blocks, or you can, after you enter a description, you can ask the AI, this generative AI, to generate blocks for you. So those blocks will be generated based on the total amount of time measured in minutes and the description that you have entered there, right? Let's say if I were to say study data, study data analytics, right? If I were to say study data analytics, and I were to say complete at least 5 modules, take ample notes, ace all quizzes and graded exams. And then let's say if I'm gonna say I'm gonna do that for 120 minutes, which is 2 hours, and I'm gonna select the type, which is studying. I can actually add the blocks, or I can ask the AI to generate the blocks for me. Watch. It's going to generate a number of blocks. There we go. Oh. There we go, right? The AI has generated a number of deep work blocks. You see, the first block is a warm-up setup block for 10 minutes for you to prepare your work area. And the next block is a 30-minute block. You sit down for 30 minutes and you get quality work done, right? In this example here, to study, then you would be studying module 1. Read the materials and whatever else it has put in there. Now, check this out. If you go all the way to the bottom, there's a success measure metrics. And the metrics are in 3 areas. There's a quality, there's a quantity, and there's a progress. So in quality, what did you accomplish? In quantity, how much and how many did you get done? And where did that put you on a timeline to finish in whatever that is? You can set a reminder. Now here's a beautiful thing. You can link that deep work session to a goal, to a current goal that you may have. And let's say we're gonna say create session, right? Now my session is created. Under today, I have an active deep work session coming up. If I start it, you're gonna hear, you may not hear it because I'm hearing it in my ears, but this is a live session now. You are going to study for 3 hours and 10 minutes. Well, 3 hours and 10 because the breaks are added into the total time. These are all the blocks. Your first block, you start your first block, you're gonna see a countdown of your first block, which is the preparation, the setup block, and that's the countdown. And then there's a count up that's counting the time that's being spent doing work. It's amazing, man. And of course, when you're done, you can add some more notes and complete that session. And of course, I can't complete because it's not part of mine. Or I can complete and delete it, but I just wanted to show you that. So what has happened is the same way I used to sit down and watch porn for 4 or 5 hours. Now I'm sitting down to do 4 or 5 hours of deep work. In doing so, here's what happens to the brain. The brain gets reconditioned. Distraction is minimal and non-existent. And you get to enter flow state. And when you enter flow state, right, I like to say, in flow state, the gods come to you. That's when real inspiration takes place. That's when real creativity unlocks. And that usually happens maybe an hour and a half into a deep work session. So if you're doing work for less than 2 hours, you're not benefiting from the available creative abilities of your brain. You're not tapping into that. You're not tapping into really the deep creative part of yourself if you're only doing work for less than 2 hours at a time. And so let's say in a no-fap recovery and semen retention program, if this is not part of it, you're not rewiring your brain. You're not reconditioning your subconscious mind for success or to do work that matters. You're not, because you can't sit down to do work because you've never conditioned yourself to sit down to do work. So you can't do work. Deep work sessions kill external stimuli. Your dopamine levels are stable when you're doing deep work sessions. And so even for programs that myself joined when I was earlier on in my journey, I was still a dopamine addict. I couldn't sit down for 45 minutes to do anything because I had not learned how to make myself sit down and do work, and how to tap into that deep creative part of myself. So here's what I wanted to share. So I told you the story, the background, that I went into trucking and I had success there. For in the 5 years I got in crypto, I got in trading. I actually um, learned trading, technical, well, portion of technical analysis, but more so fundamental analysis. I got in data analytics and Google development program. I really got deep into development program while trucking, while driving. When I stop at night, I would smoke my cigar and study. Um, but we had to come back to teaching. We had to come back to coaching. We had to come back to that creative side of us. We have books inside of us. We have courses inside of us. We have speeches inside of us. We have podcasts inside of us. So we had to tap back into that, and not just hauling freight. Although I'm grateful for the finances, for the funds, and for the opportunities that it afforded me. Imagine I never knew where I was going to sleep, right? But being able to do that, being able to handle the business aspect of it as an owner operator for 4 years with two trucks, um, that was the missing part of my life. Because on PMO, the businesses that I started on PMO in Florida all failed. And I wanted to start a physical business in the world that did not fail post NoFap. So, the top three secrets. Chew that, chew that, chew that, chiller. The top three insights that I have discovered, that I have gathered or been able to assimilate for the past 10 years, they have become the bedrock of semen retention in my mind, in my spirit, and in the way that I live, and in the way that I coach, and in the way that I advise men. Secret number one, if it's a secret at all, right? Willpower is not enough. Willpower is not enough. At first, that's what every man thinks. Every man thinks, I'm just going to stop watching porn. I'm just going to stop going over there, and I'm just going to stop jerking off, until he realizes at some point, oh God, I can't do it. You can't do it with your will. It's actually impossible to do it just with willpower alone. Simply because willpower is a diminishing resource. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, willpower starts very high. So it's actually a downtrend. Throughout the day, your willpower is actually on a downtrend. It depletes as you go. And when it comes to deep rooted habits, willpower cannot, because the habit now is part of your psyche. It's part of it has created neural pathways. And those things are stronger than your willpower. This is why your body is stronger than your willpower. That's why when you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go. That's why when you got to sleep, you got to sleep. That's why when you're hungry, you got to eat. No matter how much willpower you exercise against your body is going to win. It's going to prevail. So the same thing for a deep-rooted habit. A deep-seated habit is going to override your willpower every time. So willpower is not enough. So what is enough? Behavioral design, behavior change, behavior architecture, simply becoming a new man. That's how this work is done. This work is best done, or is done, period, this work is done by becoming a new man, by behavioral design. It's more than just saying, I want to become a different man, but it's by designing the new man, which means you're going to have to design new structures, new habits. I don't want to get ahead of myself. You have to design new environments, and that those environments can be mental, emotional, virtual, or physical. Basically, you have to set up a new world that you live in that sustains the new habit. So willpower is not enough. I know it's even mundane to be saying that, because everybody can be saying that willpower is not enough, willpower is not enough, but it's really not enough. You know, the same way they say that love is not enough to make a relationship work, it's actually true. Love is not enough to make a relationship work. What's enough? Work, commitment, follow through, loyalty, respect. So the same thing for NoFap and semen retention. Willpower is not enough. So we must architect and leverage structures, environmental design. So here's a thought. Structure determines behavior. Structure determines behavior. The structure in front of you determines your behavior. Like, for example, a car. You can only get into a car through the doors, or a house. You can only get into a house through the doors, front or back doors, because that's the structure, that's the design. So it determines your behavior, it dictates your behavior. So if you get in the house through the windows, the cops are coming, because that's not the structure. You understand? That's not the structure. And so it's sort of like we have to set ourselves up. We have to create a helpful prison, so to speak. We have to create a helpful, healthy, progressive system that we enter, that carries us. So remember, structure determines behavior. And so what does that mean in practical terms? You have to design habits, like I said earlier, and environments that sustain the new path. Those habits must be conducive to the new path that you're on, namely semen retention and NoFap. So willpower is not enough. And I think it hits home maybe a year or 2 years into the journey. Oh, Yeah, but you don't really start capitalizing on that until maybe 3 years, when you really realize, if I am to have any success on this journey, if I am to make any progress worthy of note, I have to stop using my willpower. I have to stop approaching the work from this perspective. Hold on, let me grab something real quick. Let me grab some right here. Oh, there we go. Alright, so let's come. Oh, where is this? There we go. Alright, there we go. So, where were we? Willpower is not enough. Behavioral design structure determines behavior. Number two. What did you say? Does that mean having a clear routine and schedule? What if you don't feel like doing them and you're just gonna sit back? Yes, 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 Trilla. This is it. This is it, right? And so that's a good question. What if you feel? What if you don't feel like doing them? Now remember, you didn't say what if it's not possible to do them. You didn't say what if it's inconvenient to do them. You didn't say what if you lack resources to do them. You asked what if you don't feel like doing them. Well, a structure to establish is you no longer work based on feeling. It's going to take some time to establish, but you no longer work based on feeling. When you take yourself through that process, you dissociate yourself from operating off feeling. You know? So I've been taking an ice cold shower maybe for about 3 months now. I work better when I do it. I work better also when I work 2 to 4 hours on any task. A lot of times I don't feel like it, right? But well, it doesn't even register in my mind like that really anymore. But let's say for the sake of the conversation, In my mind now, there are principles that, for example, one way my life advances is when I do work every day. That principle is ingrained. So whether I feel like doing something or not, I'm going to sit down and do work for, let's say I tell myself I'm going to do work for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And 2 hours later, I'm like, whoa, we spent 2 hours. You see, this is what behavioral design does. You design behaviors that allow you to get work done whether you feel like it or not. Now, you didn't say either, what if you decide to take it easy on that day? Like, you can decide to take it easy. Um, Last Friday or 2 Fridays ago, no, this past Friday, I decided, I've been spending a lot of sleepless nights just sitting at the desk at the computer, just coding away and getting work done. I just wanted to take Friday off. I still ended up working for 4 hours. Yeah, I think so, or more. But that was a decision. I decided to sit back and relax that day. It wasn't my feelings did not dictate it. It was a way of establishing balance into my work, right? It was a way of establishing balance into my work, not my feelings dictate. So that's where behavioral design comes into play. You design behaviors that over time carry you through and help you get work done whether you feel like it or not. For example, one such principle is I always do work. I always work whether I feel like it or not, because the way that my life moves forward is if I put in work every single day. Those are actually mantras. Those are actually, in fact, this is on my Semen retention affirmations. If you want them, I can email you a copy of them. Um, I always do work whether I feel like it or not, because I understand fundamentally the way that my life moves forward is if I put in work every single day. Is if I put in work every single day. So that eliminates the possibility of feeling having something to say about it. Now, for the sake of, let's say, let's act like a devil's advocate says, well, what if the feeling is coming from my body and I'm not even thinking about it? Like my body is just taking over. Well, it's the same principle. Behavioral design would mean that when your alarm goes off in the morning, you would get up and do certain things that set you up to do work for the rest of the day. Like the first thing I do when I wake up is taking an ice cold shower. Yes, that sets me up to do work because that calms me down, my cortisol levels drop, and I'm ready to do work. It takes care of the inflammation in my body, and that puts me in a better state of mind to do work. Let's see also, I don't know if Nigeria is the same as Haiti, where I'm from, if you didn't know. Supplements is vitamins are not a big thing in my country. Growing up, somebody would get vitamins if the doctor recommended them. But when I came to America, I realized, oh no, like vitamins are an essential part of what your body needs because they are vital nutrients. So that's another key habit to develop is to have a habit in the morning, a flagship habit in the morning that anchors you into the day, that makes it almost impossible to waste the day. It could be taking your vitamins, It could be taking a cold shower. It could be going for a walk or going for a run or exercising. I mean, meditation is good, but you need to do something actually more physical to grounds you for the day. You need to do something in your body to ground you for the day, to set you up for success. You need to do something physical. For me, it's first of all taking a cold shower, then exercising. And exercising for me right now at my age does not necessarily mean hitting the gym hard, because I actually prefer calisthenics now and working in open air. It could simply mean a mobility circuit. It could simply mean um, mobility exercises, stretching exercises, something that gets my blood flow going. So, willpower is not enough. Behavioral design is where it's at. You design behaviors because structure determines behavior, right? The structure that you set determines your behavior. Do you know what I've done, bro? For years, and I still have that. I name my alarms. Right now I had to deactivate all my alarms off my phone so that I don't get interrupted. And I'm gonna go right back and put them back on. Do you know I have slept with my workout shoes and my workout clothes in the bed with me so that when I wake up in the morning, it's impossible not to put them on. Because as I turn into the bed, as I switch sides during the night, I'm literally rolling over my fucking workout clothes and workout shoes. When I was first establishing these insights I'm sharing with you, when I was designing my behaviors, when I was designing structures for my life, I've done that. Or I would put those things in front of my bed so that when I wake up and I get out of bed, I trip over them. Yes, yes, I'm telling you. So it's almost possible. Imagine you wake up and the side that you get out of bed, your workout clothes, your workout shoes are all right in front of you. You have to step over them. And by doing that, you're automatically reminded. You wake up to the fact, oh my God, yeah. At this point, you're like, oh man, I gotta, yeah. Let's go work out. Let's go work out. Yeah. Okay. Secrets number 2. Sex energy transmutation is the framework for nofap and semen retention. Like just as semen retention is the framework for nofap, like you cannot quit porn unless you're on semen retention, unless that's what you adopt. Like quitting porn in itself without practicing semen retention will be short lived. It will be short lived. Because the reason being, we watch porn because we have unused energies, unfocused, undirected energies. That's what it really is. That's what an addiction at the very fundamental level, that's what an addiction really is. You have energies in your body that are not being directed towards anything productive and useful. And the addiction seems to be a viable conduit for that energy. That's what an addiction really is. When you really break it down, something pleasurable to the brain that now is using your cumulative energy, creative energy that you're not directing towards another thing, another pursuit, that you're not putting out work towards another pursuit. That's what it really is. So let's say I can tell you that for sure, bro. Since on my journey, I'm putting the same amount of work as time that I used to spend watching porn. In fact, I'm putting more work than time that I used to spend watching porn, because I'm putting work for 10 hours in one night. I'm sitting down in front of the computer for 10 hours, bro. And I'm saying like weeks in and weeks out, for weeks and months. I mean, I didn't used to watch porn like that. But but so what's the difference? It's the same energy that I had, that I didn't have any channel for, that I didn't have any projects for, that I didn't have any outlets, productive and healthy outlets for. Now I do. Yes. Oh, yes, Triller. Triller. I actually was thinking of doing something for you, though. Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm gonna do something for you. I'm a, I, I'm gonna upgrade you to a free. I'm gonna give you access to the free coaching area of the app very soon. Very soon, you will just log into the app and you will find an extra page where there will be coaching materials, and that will also give you access to talk to me. And that's on the house. That's on Men Superpower. So you ain't got to worry about any charge. Actually, was thinking about that. You and somebody else. Um, where was that? The reason semen retention is the framework for NoFap is because it channels the energy. Instead of focusing on, I don't want to watch porn, I don't want to watch porn, now you're focusing on, what do I do with this energy? What do I do with this energy? Those are two different, almost diametrically opposed questions, paths, and results. Consequently, instead of saying, how do I quit porn? How do I quit porn? Oh my God, I don't want to relapse on porn. I don't want to watch porn anymore. Now you're saying, damn, I'm feeling good. Damn, I'm confident, more confident now. Damn, I'm more alive now. Damn, I'm getting more creative ideas now. What do I do with those? Those are two different focal points, my brothers. Those are two different focal points, and they're going to deliver two different results. Oh, look at the supplements page, guys. Let's check out the supplements page. Somebody needs to, go get on the app. Go get on the app. Here's the link. Oh, by the way, the app is getting ready to go into the Apple Store. Yep, and Google Store. Yep. My last guidelines app. Well, my last App Store guidelines scan gave me 100% green light, and that the app is ready. Because Apple has a lot of, Google is less strenuous than Apple, and I have passed the Apple guidelines green light 100%. The first time my score was 40 out of 100, so the app was not ready for the App Store initially, maybe 2 weeks ago. But then I went to work, and now it's 100% ready. So I just got to go through the process. I just got to build the files, and I want to understand more about the App Store guidelines, both Google and Google's Play Store and Apple, before I build the files and upload. But that's coming very soon. And so the journal already. Journal. What else? What else? What else? And writing. And more. Yeah. So, semen retention, idea number two, sex transmutation. Semen retention is a tool to leverage to create quantifiable, qualitative results in your life. Semen retention is a tool to leverage to create quantifiable, qualitative results in your life. So, in the semen retention community, a lot of guys are just happy just to have the energy. Hang on, don't go. I have something to show you. I have something to tell you. Um, the reason that semen retention is a tool to leverage for quantifiable and qualitative work in your life is that the nature of energy is cyclical. Check this out. There are some guys, when I reveal this insight to them, their lives change, bro. I want you to hear this. I've had coaching clients that when I revealed this secret, it changed everything. And I'm about to give it as free game. I'm about to give it as free game. The nature of energy is cyclical. What does that mean? Just like everything else, energy goes through cycles. This is why you relapse. This is why I've relapsed. Energy goes through cycles. Without that understanding, you're thinking you're just going to be holding this energy forever. You cannot. Hello. You cannot. You cannot hold it forever. You cannot. I guarantee you cannot hold it forever. Because the nature of energy is cyclical. So, what are the different stages that an energy system goes through? First, there is the gathering of the energy. You got to get the energy. Then you got to store the energy. Then you got to use the energy. And you got to replenish the energy. And sometimes you got to recycle the energy. That means you got to let old energy out and get brand new energy in. Those are the 4 or 5 stages of an energy system. And so you violate the law if all you do is hold in the energy. Hello. You violate the law if all you do is holding the energy. And then also spiritually, by holding the energy for too long, you have also activated the law of polarity. So what does the law of polarity say? The law of polarity says there are always 2 poles in every situation, in every instance. And between those 2 poles exists the sub law of rhythm. So rhythm, that means something is always moving from one pole to another. So the energy we're holding, we're moving from one pole to another. And since the universe is always seeking equilibrium, the universe is always seeking to establish balance. And so when you're holding the energy for too long in one pole, you automatically activate the law for that energy to move from one pole to the next. Because the universe is always seeking equilibrium, the universe is always seeking to establish balance. You've heard karma. That's why karma is real, because the universe has to strike a balance. So what happens is like a boomerang. It has a boomerang effect, and that's what binge is. That's why when guys relapse, they binge, because you were holding for so long. There was a tension being built to stay in that position, and now you inevitably have to go to the other pole. You inevitably have to go to the other side, because you spent too long on this side. Because the nature of energy and any energy system is cyclical. I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you, I just dropped some gems right now. I swear to God. I just dropped some gems right now. I'm dropping gems that change my life. And these insights, when I shared them with clients, it was like, yo, this is it. Because every new practitioner of SR just want to hold it forever. They just want to hold it forever. But that's not possible, brother. You can't just hold it forever. So you have to generate the energy through SR. You have to store it, of course, keep it in your body. Use it, recycle it, and then start the process again. So, secrets number 3. Oh yeah, let's look at my supplements. Daily supplements. Secret number 3. The final stage of SR is the creator/builder phase. The final stage of SR is the creator/builder stage. That's why I've been saying SR is a tool to create success in your life, bro. There's the only framework to recover from porn. There's not another way to recover. And that's why I've designed the app to tackle those things. Like, my app is actually based on these 3 principles I just showed you. I mean, Trilla, you've been using the app, so you can testify to that. So the final stage of SR is the creator/builder stage. That's where your mind is now calibrated for purposeful work. Where your brain is now calibrated for purposeful work. And at this stage, you discover your top 3 flagship habits. Basically, a flagship habit is a habit that brings other habits along. That is a habit that makes other habits possible. Like for me, taking a ice cold shower in the morning make it possible to take my supplements, make it possible for me to work out, make it possible for me to do work. And my second flagship habit is deep work or immersive work, where I do work for no less than 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours at a time. That in those 2 to 4 hours at a time, and not only I get so much done, but I'm so focused, more creative energy pours in, more creativity pours in, and the work is actually triple, quadruple, quintuple. Because when you're doing work in a flow state, it's no longer you working, it's the gods working. It's the universe pouring through you. So at this final stage, the creator builder stage, you discover your top 3 flagship habits, and those habits carry the rest of your habits. Those are like foundational habits. Yo, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, this is how it works. I'm telling you, this is how it works. I am telling you. If you find what your top 3 flagship habits are, those habits become containers for other habits. They become launching pads for your other habits. Just like working out is a flagship habit. Because if you work out regularly, it makes other habits possible. You don't have to try to meditate. If you're working out, eventually in that state of calmness, you will get into meditation. The same thing for writing. The same thing for creating. And so, I'll be honest with you, bro. I've seen few guys go through this process I just described. I've seen few guys who've actually made it to the creator slash builder phase. Oh, let me say it again, bro. I've seen, put it a different way, I've seen more guys stay at the holding stage, at the storage of energy stage. Remember the 5 stages of any energy system? There's the generation of the energy, and there's the storage of the energy. I've seen more guys get stuck at the storage phase of SR, where they store the energy, it gets depleted, then they get more energy, then it gets depleted, then they get more energy, then it gets depleted. And the cycle repeats. And why? It's because, as I preach, when the energy is high, remember, SR is the framework for success in your life. It's a tool to level up your life. I have been saying on my channel, it's a tool to level up your life. So when the energy is high, you do work that matters. You do work that's going to change your life when the energy is high. And you can put so much work in when your energy is high on SR before the next relapse, because the next relapse is coming. Oh, by the way, where's the camera? By the way, the next relapse is coming. So on the way to the next relapse, some guys don't like that. Don't. Some guys are still in the fairy tale mindset when it comes to SR. They think they can just hold the energy forever. Nah, man, you cannot. And so, either you decide a way to channel that energy, both creatively or physically, as in the case of having natural intercourse with a woman. But the energy, time is coming for the energy to get out, because the nature of energy is cyclical. It has to go through the cycles. You can't hold it forever. So I've seen guys just hold and hold and hold until one day it slips out. And now they scramble to hold some more. And it's hard for them to just transition into the creator slash builder phase, because they don't understand when the energy is high, that's when they need to do work. You know, you do work when the energy is high in you, when you feel inspired, when you wake up that one morning and feel like, gosh, I'm feeling good, gosh, I'm feeling strong, gosh, I'm inspired, gosh, my mind is clear. Hello, that's the time to do work. That's the time to do work. Because When the energy is low, aka if you should relapse, you can't do work then. You're not gonna be able to do work then. So these are the supplements. Well, the supplements are not there. You're gonna have to add your own supplements. But these are my supplements, and I do take a lot of them daily. Usually, I take half of what you see here, but this is all supplements that I actually take on a regular basis. But you got a cycle. Remember, any energy system must be cyclical. So, um, yeah, great. Well, we did look at habits, right? So we did look at habits. Like I said, the coaching page is coming. Oh, Trilla, did you have you checked out the Mind Power page? The Mind Power page is powerful, bro. This is all. I mean, by the way, the whole app is me. It's just me. Like these are things that I've always wanted. These are things that I've always wanted. These are things that I've learned. I've learned brainstorming and idea development. You know, the many stages of an idea development, or the many stages of an idea development, and first principle reasoning. I've had to learn that myself, and I've been able to create this module. It takes you through many different stages. As soon as you create the idea, once you hit create session, then it opens the different phases um, for that idea. The same thing for the brainstorming session. You know, basically, if you put an idea and you go to phase one, right? So the idea is sparked. So now we're going to work on the core concept of the idea, and then the problem identification. Let's say it's a business, the targeted audience. And once you're done with that idea, now you go to phase one. You move on to phase one, which is much deeper analysis, and then phase three, which is much deeper analysis, and then now you have a complete brainstorming and session. Yeah. Yeah. It, oh, snap. I've only been operating with one earpiece. Well, y'all can hear me, so I guess I thought I had both of my earpiece on. Yeah, man, the first principles reasoning module or in the Mind Power page is just that. It helps you refine an idea. Both modules, both the development idea development module and the first principles reasoning modules, they're actually complementary. That's why the first principle the first principle reasoning module is on top. So you would have to finish that process and take that idea into the idea development module process, because you have to find your first principle first. You got to find that core idea that you're going to develop, right? It's to process. And of course, it's because I myself have been through the process. I've been through the confusion of working on an idea. I didn't understand the different stages of working on of working on an idea. So I had to learn. I had to spend years learning. You have to find your first principle or your hypothesis, so to speak, and but that is a process in and of itself, right? So the first principle reasoning modules, all from the years of learning. is meant to, after you've gone through that process, you now have the most nuclear of an idea. You have a first principle of an idea, and then you take that to the brainstorming and idea development. Because in order to develop an idea, you got to have the idea, right? It goes without saying. In order to develop an idea, you got to have the idea. And how do you have an idea? Well, I mean, if it's just on your mind, you're not ready to work on it because you have not taken it through any process to work on it. You don't know if it's a viable idea. You don't know if it's going to work anyway. Maybe it's a sub idea. Maybe it's a tangential idea. But once you find that core first principle, which is the most irreducible part of an idea, then you're ready to take it to a development. So that's how I got back to doing this kind of work. You know, I had to take that idea to the development. What is what is the likelihood of success going back to content creation? What evidence do I have? What supports that? What is a likely ROI on return on investment of creating digital products, which is what I'm focusing on right now. My new purpose is to ship my INTJ brain into the world by creating digital products that inspire change and create lasting effect in people's lives. So I had to work with that idea. I had to develop it to get back into something that I was doing. I'm telling you, bro, my own app. I think I'm the number one user of the app, and the app blesses me more than anybody else. I know that, I believe it. The app has maybe how many? Let's see. Let's see how many users. Um, a little bit under 10 now. 20 now. Let's see. 19. 19. Right. I mean, something I was building for myself, bro. I was just building this thing for myself, bro. Um, the same thing for Men Superpower. I just wanted to share the process that I went through. But as it turns out, the best the best way we help others is by helping ourselves. Really, that's what it is. The best way we end up helping others is by helping ourselves. So because I have taken myself through the process of recovery, because I have turned the research and the process into a science, I'm able to help another person. I'm able to help another man. So because I wanted to create this app for myself, it ended up being, oh my God, somebody says, yo, are you gonna put this on the App Store? I'm like, nah, man, I'm just gonna keep it as a PWA. PWA means progressive web app. So basically, it lives in a web page. It lives on the web. It's not a native app. That's how I was going to keep it. In fact, I do have another one. I have a study PWA, and I do want to create an app for women, but not now yet. And one friend was like, Nah, man, you might consider put this in the app store, and you might want to consider opening it up to other men. Because at first I was just like, this is for me. I want a tool for myself. I want a tool to channel my creative work, a tool to help me be, well, remain and be more consistent and productive. But then it ends up being something that blesses other people. It's a robust app. In fact, many of the pages and modules in my app are standalone apps out there. Just the habit page itself is a standalone app out there. And I haven't seen no app with a brainstorming and idea development and first principle reasoning page at all. I don't know if they exist, but I haven't seen anything like that out there. So by doing it for myself, I ended up doing it for men, other men. And that's why I like to say I built the app for myself and now I'm sharing it with you. It's the most honest statement. I've built this app for myself and now I'm sharing it with people. I'm sharing it with men, not people, men. I didn't start with let me build an app for men. I didn't start with let me build an app that maybe somehow I will um, coach through, or I will add my coaching program. I didn't start like that. I just wanted a repository of my own mind. I wanted a container of tools for my own mind, for myself. Come on, Trilla, ask me a question. I just shared these three ideas. Appreciate you being here, Trilla. I knew you would be here, man. Who else? Who else is here? Say hi. We have a couple. We have a couple of guys. They pop in and pop out. It's a success. It's a success. It's a success that guys come on and go, come and go, come and go. It could have been zero, but it's not going to be zero. For a first live back, I think my last live must have been 2021, bro. My last good video. Oh, by the way, I have taken a YouTube masterclass, so it's going to be much different than before. I understand the algorithm now. If somebody else is interested, they can't get in this right here. Where is that link? Copy. Ooh. Paste. There we go. Oops. I think so. And now my clients automatically get an app instead of working face to face on the phone. Now they get resources. You know, you can send me an email in the app now, Triller. Bottom left corner, right there, it says contact. Um, if we press it, bottom left corner, it's gonna open your email client and to send me an email. I I ordered some new equipments and I forgot to purchase. I thought I did. I thought in the cart because I ordered some like about 20 items, and I thought I ordered an XLR cable for my new mic. I didn't. So the mic is sitting here missing the XLR cable. So I can't use it with the interface, with the audio interface. I can't use the audio interface for better sound because I don't have the cable. And I could have gone and gotten the cable today, but that would only delay going live. So I said, forget about it. Let's go live. Let's go live. However, man, yeah, I know it's my standard to have better equipment and a better streaming software, but that would only delay going live. So I said, forget about it, man. Let's do it. I can't talk enough about creating the masterpiece days and today's focus, creating masterpiece days. This is worth talking about, bro. Let's edit it to see what it's about, right? Well, let's complete this one and let's start another one. I'm going to complete mine so you don't see too many. And we'll start another one. I just actually created the completion part of the page so that it is retroactive. That means I have to complete all the older ones before I can start a brand new one. Here we are, brand new page now. So if we start a brand new today's focus, right? It starts with, what do you want to focus on today? This is a guiding idea of the day, right? Then you have a gratitude field. What am I grateful for today? An energy level meter. Are you smiling, happy? Are you on fire? Are you sad? Or are you sleepy? Location. Now the location is optional, but it's necessary. Here's why. Location is necessary because you will be able to tie that day to a specific location. In your mind, when you revisit those previous days, because Once you complete one, they stay. They stay right here, right? As previous days. When you revisit it, you will be able to remember where you were, physical place. And now it starts getting heavy. What is your best thought right now? What is your best thought? If you search in your mind, what is your best thought right now? Now, this is starting heavy. It's starting bringing you into the present moment because you got to think right now. This is all me. This is all me. This is the process I've gone through. This is all me. This is what I wanted in an app. Now, you got to think. You got to become present to answer this question. It only gets better. What is your best thought right now? Second, what emotion are you feeling right now? And you can choose from a drop-down list. You can choose a list of emotions. Focused, motivated, driven, lost, meh, skeptical, optimistic, angry, disappointed. You choose an emotion, right? And then it says, are you clear right now? Do you have clarity in your life right now? You see the question with yes or no? If you choose yes, a conditional, that's building language. If you say yes, if you answer yes, then another box opens with describe your clarity. So if you say yes, I have clarity, it asks you to describe your clarity. This is how I think. We have to make it clear. If in my life I've learned these principles, so if I say yes, I have clarity, well, write it down. Give me 3 points of clarity, and in what areas. Define them. We can't just say I have clarity. And if you say no, it's even worse because it's gonna take you through another process of answering questions. So if you say no, the question now becomes, in what area do you not have clarity in your life? And you can add as many areas as you want, right? So it could be romance, career, family, life purpose, health, fitness, mental health. And you can add more areas. And you can add a custom area, something that I didn't think about for your life, but that you don't have clarity on. It could be a project or it could be a particular goal that I didn't think about to put into that list. So I give you an opportunity to create a custom area of clarity. And then further down, the questions, what are you going to do now to gain clarity in this area? If you think this... Shit. If you think this is a joke, right? I actually work on index cards, right? I work on index cards. Let me show you. So I like writing stuff down on index cards. That's how I get shit done. Here is the index card for this module. Here is all the questions for this module. Here's the index card where I created all these questions. So then, what are you going to do right now to gain clarity in that area? The next question, what is the one thing that you would need to happen to make today an awesome and productive day? What is that one thing that would need to happen right now, today, that would make today an awesome and productive day? Next question, what inspires and keeps you going? What inspires you and keep you going? This process, that's why I call it Create Masterpiece Days. Actually it's an idea out there. I read a book many years. I was still in my 20s, early 30s, no, late 20s. I was still in my late 20s when I read a book by John C. Maxwell. It's called Masterpiece Days. I don't think that's what it's called. I think that was one of the ideas in the book. I think so. I can't remember. but I do remember the concept. And the next question, because these questions are designed, because that's the questions that I go through myself. This is pouring out of my own consciousness, or my own system, my own habits, my own way of living. This is what is. What is your number one measurable goal in the next 30 days? What is your number one measurable goal in the next 30 days? Why these two constraints? Do you see two constraints? Two constraint is number one goal, measurable, number one measurable, something you can measure. The second constraint, in the next 30 days. It's not a vague goal. It's not something you wish you could do, but something you can measure. For example, I want to gain X amount of whatever in the next 30 days. Now, about that same goal, what is currently a known obstacle to that goal? I was telling a friend of mine recently about the app, about these modules, that normally we don't like considering or looking at obstacles when we are making plans. We don't look at obstacles. But there are, especially for men coming from a porn addiction background, there are definitely known obstacles to your plan. What is the number one known obstacle to any plan that you can make right now, bro? PMO, porn. That's the number one obstacle. The number one obstacle to any plan that you can make right now is going to be porn. So you need to write that down. Anytime you make a plan, you got to write down the number one obstacle to that new plan is porn. And then the next question is, what do you have to do to overcome this obstacle in order to achieve your goal in 30 days? Then next question, what is the current vision for your life? How do you see yourself right now? How do you see your life right now? And you can link that to a goal. You can link that to a writing that you have open. You can link that to an active goal, a brainstorming session, a deep work session. Remember, we've already seen all of those things, right? So you can link this masterpiece days to a deep work session, an active goal, a brainstorming session, a writing session, or even a workout plan. And then any additional notes that you may have. When you have gone through this process, you will gain clarity. You will gain clarity. Yes. And imagine repeating that process. Imagine repeating that process. Now, let's go to SMART goals, right? This is a SMART, SMART goal system. Let's check out the dialogue, right? Well, let's check out the form. That's what I should say for you. But you have a goal title. It's got to be specific, and you got to have a detailed description of the goal, right? And you got to have a created by date, the date that you have. My phone freezes. My phone freezes. Let's go again. Oops. Is it still connected? Yeah, I think so. No? Okay. And here's the smart criteria. Why is this goal relevant? What is the relevance of this goal? Is this goal achievable? And now here's the beautiful part is the measurable metrics. Whatever you decide to measure your goals, whatever that measure is, and it gets even more beautiful. You can add steps, or you can ask an AI, a generative AI, to fill your steps for you based on the description of the goal that you already entered. Due date and any additional notes. If you have gone through that process and fill all of this out, what you end up with is a smart goal. It's a goal that's specific, measurable. So you end up with a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and and also has a time constraint to it. Smart. So it's not an idea that I want to do X. It's more like I want to do X, this amount of X for this reason, so that I can accomplish this, the relevance, by this date. Usually, bro, out of our own passion, we can create masterpiece work. And sometimes we don't even know what we're creating until it has been created, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. What's another feature? Where quick to-do list, you can I don't want you to see my quick to-do list, but you know, and task management. We have a task management area. You can check those out. I mean, this is complete. You have a today's focus module, a quick to-do list that you can quickly fill out, add whatever you have to do in the future, you know, little quick to-do list. And you have a robust task management system right here. And you have a smart goal module right under only one page, which is the productivity hub page. Look how many more pages are there. I love it, bro. I love it when I sit down 7, 8, 9, 10 hours, either coding, studying, or building something. That's why SR is the framework for NoFap. The energy is a tool. SR is a tool to create qualitative and quantifiable results in your life. Semen retention is a tool to create qualitative, quantifiable results in your life. All the different businesses I've been involved in, my investments, having gone into trucking, 2 trucks, all the way to these 2 apps where I'm only showing you one because that's what's relevant. That's what's relevant to you. Are qualifiable, quantitative work results as a result, you know, produced by SR. Ask me a question, guy. Ask me questions. Well, we did it. We didn't wait for the equipment to be perfect. We didn't wait for a streaming software to be perfect. We just went live. Well, we just went live. We shared three key ideas or the three secrets that I have reduced my semen nutrition journey to. I've shared that. We've talked about my app. We've talked about the features. We've linked everything together. It's a success, you know. 2 hours well spent. And we've had a number of views. We've had guys come on, get off, come on, get off. That's the nature of it. So who's still here? Trila, are you still here? Well, guys, I appreciate you. Hopefully, I was useful to you. Hopefully, you get on the app. Um, Hopefully, somebody heard something that helps them on their journey. And I believe that. And if that didn't happen, whatever I said tonight then served as a seed in somebody's consciousness, in somebody's mind, and that will blossom, which will blossom at a later time in the future. I'm out. I'm here. I'm getting back in the work. I have another channel that's actually, I'll be focusing on, but this is my baby, and this is my baby work. This is my initial content creation work. I can't believe it's already 5 6 years since I created this channel. I created this channel in 2019. I have more than 200 plus videos, and I've had a lot of coaching clients all the way to now. Even when I was not creating, even when I was not uploading, I was still getting guys. I was still working with guys. I can't believe it's that long later. It's that much time has gone by, and here we are. Any questions for me, guys? One more question. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. I got 50 views. Um, at any given moment, there were 7 guys here. It seems like the average was more like 5. Um, looking at the analytics, that's success. It wasn't zero. It wasn't nobody. That's success. So I've done 4-hour lives. It's interesting that I I stopped creating content right when streaming took off. Really, right when streaming took off, that's when I stopped streaming. In a sense, I was part of the early wave of streaming. But whatever I went to do, I needed those skills, I needed those experiences, and they have contributed to make me a much better man, a more well rounded man. And I think I'm better set now than I was back in 2021, 2020, 2021. With that being said, thank you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you again. Triller. Hey, get the app, guys. Get the app. It's gonna help you. You're gonna like it. You're gonna love it actually. Until next time, feel your power, bro. You are king. This is your journey. You are on the best journey. The journey of self-love, the journey of self-empowerment. Stay on this journey. Remember, stay on this journey. And better, there's not another better journey out there. There's not another journey that you can get on out there. Because this is true masculinity. This is who you are. Your sexual energy is who you are at the very core. I don't want to get into something else because I don't want to get into another topic. I'm a mystery to people. I am a mystery to people. And I know it. People can't get their minds around it. Like they can't get it who I am. That people can't get who I am. People can't get how I move. People can't get how I know what I know. People can't get how I'm so sharp. People can't get my insights. They can't get how I am the way I am. But it's just the energy, bro. It's the energy. The sharpness is the energy. I like to say I see. You see, my tattoo says I see. The all-seeing eye plus I see. Because I see. People can't get it, bro. They can't. I know I am a mystery to people. Friends, family members, women I'm in a relationship with, uh, uh, business associates. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It's like I'm a mystery. But I didn't start becoming like that until SR. It is who you are, man. It is who you are. It is the essence of your masculinity. It is the essence of your manhood. So you are on the right journey. You are on the right path. The journey of self-discovery, the journey of self-empowerment, the journey of self-love. Stay on this journey. I can't even play any sounds or any video because this streaming software is different than what I used to use. Okay, I'm gonna give this last link, and then we can go. If anybody wanna work with me, we're reaching for Mountain Olympus, and there we go. Stay on this journey. You want to work with me? There goes the link. Stay on this journey. It is who you are. You are on the right path. You are on the right journey. Namaste. I'll see you again, guys.